Welcome back. Sorry, I was running out of Christmas bed. And with Christy, this is so cool. So we were talking on the, what was it, Friday, Thursday? And this is so just interesting. What an opportunity, too. And to decorate the White House is just one of the coolest things. And we'll just go right into this. So, so anytime you get a chance to decorate a big place, it's got to be one of the coolest things. It's always a new experience. And this one, though, is an opportunity that not a lot of people can say they're ever going to receive. How did this happen?
So, you apply and wait to see what happens. Evidently, the stats pretty much show that you have a greater chance of getting into Harvard than you do decorating the White House for Christmas. So a little under a 1% chance that this was going to work out the way that it did. So I'm grateful to represent Alton, the Alton community, and the Riverbend area in the White House this last couple of weeks.
Have you, has anyone said if there's been another individual from Alton that's gone in and done this?
I have not heard that there has been.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
I may be the first.
So take me through this. You get selected, and then this is kind of like a military operation because this isn't a small space.
No, this is a large scale operation. From even if you're just looking at the White House on a regular basis, the White House serves 5 purposes. It's first of all a museum. It's a national park. It's the office of the president. It's the first family's residence, and then it's the people's house. So it's operating on a huge scale as is. But then you bring in Christmas, and we're talking large scale.
Well, and you we were watching TV, my fiance the other day, and we were watching the walkthrough of the White, just a preview of it, and the foyer is just, and I'm sure I'm saying this wrong, the foyer?
Yes.
Okay. It's just incredible. You see all these trees, and I'm like, this is just remarkable. It's beautiful. And then this was your space, part of a team that collaborates on this to decorate it. That's what I thought was so cool, is that your hands were literally dried directly to one of the most recognizable spaces.
Yes, thank you. Yes, my hands touched pretty much most trees in some capacity, whether it be lighting, hanging candles.
Look at that. That's so
ornaments.
Cool. It's just incredible. And when you go in there, what's your first thought whenever you start? Because I'm sure you start with an empty canvas, correct?
Right. No, we walked in that first day, walking into over the threshold of the White House space was just, it's awe-inspiring, right? You're walking over the threshold of every diplomat and dignitary that walks through that front door. The space this time is a bit different because you are actually walking through the entry point, where we were in a little bit different entry point as guests of the White House. But this time, just completely awe-inspiring, kind of took my breath away, and there were tears in my eyes for sure.
So how many rooms get decorated, or what's that kind of overall picture look like before we just talk about your contribution? Right,
sure. So what is previewed on HGTV last night was actually the state floor. So you've got the grand foyer, you've got the East Room, which is a pretty large space, the state dining room where the dinners are held, the Red Room, the Blue Room where the giant Christmas tree goes up, the national tree, and then you have the I said the Red Room, right? Red Room, Blue Room, Green Room, and that main state floor. The second, the lower level, is also decorated, but was not on public tour. And then the West Wing is also decorated, which some of my coworkers were in the West Wing area, but that is obviously not televised as well.
Right. Well, and now when you get into this, how many were in your team? Because you guys have a pretty big space. This isn't, some of these rooms can be a little bit smaller. All still are beautiful and have huge material in, like the tree and everything, the national Christmas tree. But when you have the space that big, I'm sure your team has to be pretty big too.
Yeah, I believe we had about 20 to 25 probably on our team.
I was honestly going to think more, to be quite honest, because of just how big the space is.
Right. No, surprisingly, everyone worked together so incredibly well. We just dovetailed together. So I was saying earlier, we kind of operated like an organism, just together. Kind of that enduring American spirit that, when you're working together towards a common goal. Complete strangers days before, and then, we just formed these friendships and just worked well together.
It's just incredible. I mean, and what I think's so cool, and you hit on this earlier, is just the history, you know, and everything else. Where, I mean, you're sitting in a, you know, a space where really it's full of all these incredible figures that, you know, shared the same hallway or look and did, you know, it's just got to be one of those hair-raising moments too, you know?
It definitely is. I mean, to think back and just, you know, I love history anyway. So to think that, you know, I'm standing in the East Room where the portrait of George Washington is hanging, you know, Dolly Madison saved that portrait from the fire when the British burned the White House in 1814. She saved that portrait, and he's just, you know, looking at us, you know, in the distance. And then to know that same room was, you know, a place for soldiers in the Civil War. I mean, just the history of the moments and times are amazing. I think at one point it was actually maybe it was the Adams, but they hung their laundry in the East Room as well. So like just
that's true. Well, and it's just so it's amazing, you know, and I think it's so unique too because when it comes to decorating and all that, that's, you know, most of the time that's the First Lady's, you know, responsibility and everything else. So you get to really get their take on what their presentation of a holiday is or what their presentation of an American version of that holiday is or how it represents the country. And working, you know, with Melania's team and all that's got to be kind of a really interesting thing and a fun opportunity too.
Absolutely. I mean, her team really seemed to know her preferences well. You know, even when we were decorating the trees in the grand foyer, you know, each person who's decorating has their own personal, you know, attachments and spin on what the tree should look like. And they would come through and just, you know, very kindly, but edit, you know, what we were doing for her preference. Yeah. So they knew her well enough to know, you know, that she didn't want it over the top, kind of toned down, tucked in, you know, so they would just spend time coming through and editing what we were doing to fine tune it. And then, of course, they were in communication with her as we were working through the process.
So, you know, how long do you have to get this done?
So I spent a couple of days. There's a lot of pre-work that needs to be done before all of those items. I mean, you're talking thousands of stems of flowers, of lights, and everything has to be unpackaged, repackaged, go through screening to make it to the White House. So we spent 6 solid days preparing for this.
It's incredible. And now, whenever you're, you know, in this, do you get a sense of, and not like the history sense, but, you know, the energy of the other components of the building at all? Are you guys so focused that, I mean, because you have a job and you got to, you know, you're here, and here. But I can only, just to break it down for maybe folks that will never get a chance to be inside of the White House or just, you know, how they just won't. What's it like? Do you get a sense of the energy, the work that's going on or anything like that?
Yes. So I was sweeping the floor and met my friend, Steven, and he has been a housekeeper of the White House for 26 years.
Wow.
So, you know, I was sweeping, he was sweeping. And so we introduced ourselves to each other and just kind of immediately became quick friends. But, you know, there's so much interface. The staff of the kitchen are the ones that fed us, you know, every breakfast and lunch. In the state dining room. It was very good food. Okay. So the blueberry cobbler, the chocolate cake. I never eat dessert really, but blueberry cobbler, the chocolate cake was fantastic. People are still talking about having dreams about this chocolate cake. There was a quiche one morning. They served us for breakfast. That was fantastic. And then I know the White House macaroni and cheese is kind of like the it thing. So I still think my mom's is better. I hope she's listening.
Good answer. That's a great answer. It's so cool to me, though. And that you really get a real hands-on experience. You know, it's not just, all right, here's your space, thanks, you know, clock out and that's it. You really got to live this.
Yes, no, we were there, you know, just absolutely immersed. You know, obviously there are Secret Service, police, you know, they're stationed to keep you in your space. So, you know, we were, you know, for the most part, not allowed to freely roam. You know, you have your space and your job and that's where you're at. So contained, but but also, very free to interact and build relationships.
Before we talk about, the decoration and the design full course here in the special, how long does it take to get into the White House every day?
Oh, so our days started at 6 a.m. every day. So I can tell you, the Secret Service agents that were walking us out at 8 o'clock or 8:30 at night.
Oh, wow.
Were also the ones checking us back in at 6 a.m.
That's incredible.
Yes. And there's several stations that you go through to get checked and screened every day. There was a process for screening, of course, once I accepted the opportunity, there were multiple screenings.
Right.
So yeah, you're checked and double checked and checked again.
It's incredible. Do you have a moment to take a quick break? We'll come back and talk all about the process and everything else.
Thank you.
10:25 is the time. We'll come back with more Daily Show right after this. Roku TV, Apple Podcasts.
What's up? It's Mike Keith. What's up, bro? Good, my guy. Back to spotlight other amazing alumni and how they discovered their path at Lewis and Clark. Let's jump into it. This is Dwight Wirtz, president of Wirtz Welding and Tank Service, the nation's premier distributor of tank trailer parts. Dwight has been an outspoken and long-time supporter of the college and is the current chairperson of Lewis and Clark Board of Trustees. Oh, and he's a Lewis and Clark grad.
I'm Dwight Wirtz, and I am a trailblazer.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Tomorrow isn't built by dreamers. It's built by doers. Because progress doesn't work unless we do. So at Ameren, we've been hard at work putting energy to work for you. Adding underground cables, installing advanced switches and sensors, storm hardening poles and power lines, making the energy grid stronger today so it can meet your needs tomorrow. Learn about projects in your area at Ameren.com/energyfuture.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
On boots and a pistol that shoots is the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that'll talk and we'll go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere.
Welcome back, Daily Show. Did I spell everything right?
So it's SCHAPER.
SCHAPER. Oh.
You're fine.
Ah, damn it. Okay, I'm going to fix that here. And now going back in, we were talking during the break, and the most incredible part of this that, I've heard so far is that I would have definitely gone crazy doing the lighting.
Uh-huh.
Fill in the audience. So these aren't anybody's grandma's trees. These are monsters.
These are not pre-lit.
Yeah, And these are the ones that are like the $175 category at the Optimus lot. You know, these are...
I mean, there are 65 sets of lights on one 14-foot tree. So you may spend the greater part of a day lighting a tree. And it's a very specific process. Like you're lighting the tree up from the inside out. So I had a lot of great practice because this is how my dad has lit trees my entire life.
Oh,
and so,
no way.
Yes. So
do you hear him? Do you hear him like in your head going, "I freaking told you"?
My dad's like, I got this. But yeah, so he has done that for my lifetime. And so that's how I've been lighting trees. It's a lot different to light an artificial tree where you can see each branch coming out. I can tell you for sure that the real trees are an entirely different animal. I mean, there's people covered in sap, pine needles, like you are intimate with the trees.
So how many? So you had 24 in that space? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think about 25. I didn't count at any point, but
how many do you have to do?
So I personally did 6 trees on my own.
That's incredible. I barely get through one without taking a break and crying a little bit.
I know, it's so funny people's strategy, right? Because some people are like, okay, I'm in it. I'm going for the biggest tree. That's the one I'm doing. So I went the opposite strategy. I took the 2 4-foot trees, the 2 6-foot trees.
Smart.
And then a couple of 8-foot trees.
That's how you do it.
So that was good. But then, there's so many other people that are, coming by and adding candles or adding some extra florals or tweaking things. So, I would say that we all, completely worked as a team as well. And every one of those 400 or 450 or so candles, if you can imagine this, had to have batteries added, velvet lined around the bottom of it, strung with fishing line to put on the tree. And then can you imagine the pile of remote controls for those candles? So,
oh my God.
It was incredible.
Is this one of the 4-foot ones you did?
That is.
Look at that. See, I'm getting good at finding some of this stuff. I'm actually figuring this out. This is the 4-foot one right down here.
It is.
That's awesome. One is beautiful. And now all of this is so detailed too, and that's what I think is so cool, because all the trees, their color scheme's really elegant, but if you look at it, every branch has a lot of different character, to it. Each one does.
It does.
And now, what was your guys' direction? I guess what do they tell you? Is there like I guess a whiteboard saying, "Here's what we're doing. We got to hit this, this, and this"? Or?
Yeah. So this year, Hervé, he actually is Melania's designer, and he created this beautiful image. She sets the direction, right? The First Lady says, "This is the theme I want. This is where we're going with it." And then he actually created the booklet for the guests, and it's beautiful. So that was their collaboration, and then that runs down to the team leaders. So then the team leaders, the 5 team leaders that we were assigned to, all had their own. This is what we're doing. So they presented that to Hervé and the First Lady, and then they had modified it. So all the supplies and all of that was there. And then we were carrying out that vision. So
it's incredible. Well, and you also tell me on the phone that you guys had to get this done the quickest amount. You had one of the biggest spaces.
We did.
And you have to get it done in the shortest amount of time.
Yes. So which day was that? I guess it was, they were getting ready to walk the through the front door. So that had to come through our space. So HGTV was filming. So they walked through that morning and said, we have to have everything done by noon. So all the boxes, everything had to be cleared out of our space, because they're literally walking through with a, almost 300-pound gingerbread structure that has to move through that space into the dining room. And then we had to have, a walkway and pathway for the camera crew and all of the people watching. So, I mean, at one point, the intensity intensity does tick up a notch. So,
well, and it's so fascinating that you guys gelled as well as you did, the team. And I mean that because, I'm sure you don't, some of you might know each other, or did you guys in this instance?
No.
Wow.
No. So there were 145 people selected from 47 states, from 12 to 15,000 applicants. And no, we all came together.
That's like winning the lottery.
It is. So no, we were all strangers. We left as more than friends, really, as family. Their stories are fantastic. So Donna traveled all the way from Guam. She served in active military from the time she was 18 for 30 years.
Wow.
She's a fantastic woman. Her story's fantastic. Another woman I met, her husband actually served in Vietnam. Their anniversary was on Thanksgiving, and his story of making it through the war and serving our country is just, I will cry talking about it. So, there were Gold Star families that lost loved ones. There were amazingly talented, designers and florists that were there, kind of putting their own tweak and spin on things as well, which was fantastic.
It kind of sounds like it in a way, and it would give me a huge sense of American pride just in that, just with the people you're with, and just seeing all those stories kind of come together. And do you guys take it away different things when you're watching each other work, or do you even have time because you're focused on your stuff, or do you get a chance to kind of blend creative minds and really collaborate?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of. The whole thing was really collaboration.
Awesome.
Somebody would come by and have a better idea or a different way to manage it, and then we would just move that direction, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that the thing is that's the enduring American spirit: kindness, generosity, patriotism, joining together for something that's greater than yourself. And I think anytime that you're working in an environment where you're doing something that's beyond yourself, it's beyond your own, your own pride, your own thoughts. It's bigger than that. And so it allows you to work together in maybe a little bit different way.
So what's your favorite part of this design? What's your favorite part of your process here, and just the timeline you had? Was there a moment you're always going to remember the most, or was there a lot of different things that you're like,
oh my goodness,
this is it?
Yeah, there's so many. I got to literally touch the place, the cornerstone where the White House had burned in the fire in 1814. Just fantastic. Looking at having the curator walk through the spaces and actually talk to us about the museum quality.
Oh, wow.
The fact that there's 60,000 artifacts that are archived in our, White House, which is, a museum and national park, was fantastic. The friendships that I formed with all of these people. We're talking about reunions. We're talking about
awesome.
road trips. These people are just top notch, and I can't wait to spend more time with them.
Well, and when you're in the room and you're in the space you're going in and you're decorating, was there anything that you expected that, man, I expected this to be bigger or smaller. I expected this to be X, Y, and Z, and it wasn't? Or did everything kind of meet, the vision you had when you're driving up to the house, and then all of a sudden you walk into the door? Did it all match it, or did it kind of surprise you?
I think I was so overcome with the moment. Stepping over the threshold. So, the chandelier is glowing.
Yeah.
And I visited in multiple capacities. So first I was there as a worker at the White House, right, as a volunteer. And so, that first step through the door when the trees are kind of partially lit and the chandelier's glowing, and they have this beautiful light that casts the shadow on the ceiling. It was just absolutely gorgeous. That brought tears. And then revisiting, and having the U.S. Marine Band play for us. Fantastic. And then, to be walking through that same space where I was a worker and now I'm a guest, was just an incredibly memorable experience as well.
100%. And now I want to ask you about when you guys got back together, but also this is a gingerbread. I thought this was an actual cake. I didn't realize that was a gingerbread house. No. That is one of the coolest things. This is the White House's gingerbread house. I don't know who they find or how anyone has this much talent. It makes me jealous every time, Christy, I'll be honest with you.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Look at this, guys. This is insane. That is a gingerbread house.
So that is 120 pounds of gingerbread, at least 10 pounds of white chocolate.
Wow.
There are individual little portraits that HGTV actually shows you on the special if you want to tune into that.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that
There's
too.
little portraits inside that carved out space at the top of the family's.
Yeah.
That's the yellow oval room, which is the family's private space. So that's just fantastic.
That is so cool. Wow. And now, so before we move on, how do we watch this? And when does it air? So first part aired, correct?
Yes. So it aired last night live. And I believe that you can now watch it on HBO or HGTV, Discovery Plus. And it should be archived. The last 20 years of HGTV specials are in there on HGTV. So you can watch as many as you'd like.
That's just incredible. And now, when you're going back and they're playing for you and all that, what's that feeling? What's that event look like too?
The event was fantastic. I mean, we were treated like any other guest to the White House, a beautiful
so cool.
embossed invitation from the First Lady that is now, in a frame in my home.
It should be.
Yeah. And, we were greeted with military, were stationed in multiple spots. Again, the Marine Band played, the choral, they did a choral performance as well. The First Lady came down and spoke to us and thanked us for our service. And I believe, and then the food. I mean, the food is a whole nother, conversation, but just an incredible buffet, spread before us with everything from, kind of your usual suspects to like the White House cookies that everyone likes. So these beautiful little wreaths, everything was beautifully done. And the staff was absolutely fantastic. They were super gracious and kind.
So overall, what do you want the public to know about the most, just about this experience and your, contributions to it too?
Yeah, I think, I go back to all these quotes of the president, right? JFK said, ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And, I just think that's the enduring American spirit, is the generosity, the idea of serving our country, the idea of joining together for something that's bigger than ourselves. And it's about preservation and history and coming together. I mean, we are an incredible nation still, and have an incredible history as we embark upon our 250th anniversary. I think we should go back and honor all of the places and spaces and presidents and first ladies that have all made, incredible contributions to the country that we are today. Nobody's perfect, but it goes well beyond politics.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And now, any chance that you're going to decorate for the 250th this coming year?
Oh, man, wouldn't that be a dream?
I just want to throw it out there. That way we can manifest it. Everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
And anything else before we say goodbye for now?
No, I'm just incredibly grateful and honored and thankful for this experience.
Well, thanks for sharing your story. This is really cool. And honestly, such a great way for Alton to be represented and the Riverbend region to be represented too.
Thank you so much, CJ.
We'll take a quick break. 10:42. We'll come back with more Daily Show and wrap up Monday morning next.